So then guys, the best for iPhone ever will simply just fold and go into your pocket. That is what I predict Tim Cook will say when they announce the new iPhone Fold. Apple have filed patents over the last few years and it looks like a foldable iPhone is finally coming. But when will the iPhone 17 Fold come and what features will it have? Well, for Apple to make a foldable iPhone or even say a foldable iPad, it's going to be quite simple for them to do. At the end of the day, two of the most popular products that Apple sell right now are the iPhones and also the iPads. And to be deadly honest, we have here the largest iPhone what's available right now is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And then we also have the smallest iPad that we have available here, what is the iPad mini, what has an 8.3-inch display. And as you know, if you've used an iPad or if you've used an iPhone, you will know that the software is very similar on both of these devices. So to be deadly honest, it'll be quite easy for Apple to simply make a hybrid between both of these devices together and simply make an iPhone Fold or an iPad Fold or whatever you want to call it really easily with the software they have right now. And to be honest, it's probably the right time to make it, as other companies out there who make foldables, to name a few, say OnePlus with the Open X series, Motorola Razr, the Oppo Find series, then there's also the Pixel Fold, and then of course there is also the Samsung Galaxy Fold and the Galaxy Flip, to name a few competitors out there who are making foldable phones right now. Right now, I would still say the king of foldables is still Samsung, but over the last year, we've had lots of phones come out. Like I did mention, we had OnePlus, we even had the Pixel come out from Google themselves, we've also had Oppo. There's been lots and lots of competition, and it looks like there's going to be even more competition in 2024. Don't get me wrong, some others have failed out there, for example like Microsoft, who tried to make the Duo with two screens instead of a foldable screen. But the problem that we have with, say, Samsung and the Pixel out there is to do with the software right now. So, for example, this here is a Galaxy S24 Ultra and has One UI installed on it. And to be deadly honest, you get One UI on Fold phones too. The software is a very similar experience out there, and it just doesn't seem well optimized. When you run apps, say, on a foldable phone, like the Galaxy Fold or even the Pixel, there's always a lot of space and, you know, apps just not designed perfectly for the space and is not utilized correctly. But this is where I believe Apple could change a lot of this. So for example, they could combine sort of iOS and iPadOS into one. So for example, if we have that foldable sort of screen on most foldable phones, we could have the software of an iPhone on the front screen, because that's a similar like a 6.1-inch display or something like that. And then when you open up the Fold screen, for example, you could have the sort of the software experience that you get of an iPad instead, what is really easy for Apple to adapt into place here. Like I just said, the current iPhone Pro screen is a 6.1-inch display, and this is the same size as a Fold screen, a Galaxy Fold when it's closed, and when you open up, it's a 7.9-inch display. And believe it or not, 7.9 inches was the old display size for the iPad mini before this design here. So again, like I said, it's going to be really simple for Apple to adapt this. So with this, we know it's totally possible for Apple to create such a foldable phone, but is there any evidence that they're actually going to make a foldable phone or a foldable tablet? Well, there's lots of patents put in place, and let's have a quick look at them right here. So the first patent that you can see here is probably the patent that Apple are probably most likely going to use. As you can see here, it is a foldable device here, and it's folded sideways with curved walls, as you can see here, and it says it could contain touch surfaces, and this could possibly mean that we could see touch surfaces on the front and the back of the Apple Fold device. We have seen something like this before. So for example, the Huawei X series actually had this to begin with on their first ever sort of device. And it's quite possible, looking back here at the patent, that Apple could do this and say store the cameras and the batteries behind this. So you would just have just one screen and it would open up like this. So it wouldn't be exactly like, say, a Galaxy Fold or a Pixel actually has, say, two screens. It'd just be one screen, and basically the back screen would get enabled when you fully open up the Fold, actual iPhone Fold tablet phone that you see here. The next painting that you can see here looks very similar to the likes of the Microsoft Duo. So the Microsoft Duo, as I mentioned earlier, had 2 screens inside it, and it was a bit of a failure, to be honest. And I don't think Apple wants to take this approach because they know that, for example, Microsoft failed with this, and lots of other sort of foldable phones out there are just basically one big screen on the inside, one big screen on the outside. And I think that they're probably not going to go ahead with this, but obviously they had to paint in it anyway. Another painting that we have here, what's quite a futuristic looking one, is actually having a screen going all the way around the actual whole iPhone. So this would actually be classed as a foldable device because at the end of the day the screen folds all the way around. But personally, I don't see why we would use this. So I think, again, Apple just painted this just in case they were actually going to use this idea, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. The next painting that you can see here is actually a rollable sort of screen. Now, we actually have seen this idea actually come out before, that you could actually have a phone that sort of rolls out. And this is quite possible that Apple could actually go down this route instead. I think this technology needs to be perfected a little bit more. And honestly, in my honest opinion, I'd actually prefer a foldable phone of this kind of design. But with all the other kind of foldable phones at the moment not going down this route just yet, I don't think Apple will be the first ones to jump in on this. The last painting that's been put in, what I just cannot see happening at all, is, do you remember the Nokia banana phone that used to exist years ago? Well, it looks like Apple put a painting in for this. So this is like the banana phone that we saw in The Matrix, if you ever saw the first one of that. But personally, I don't think Apple will be going down this route of this type of display. It wouldn't really work that well in your pocket either. I think out of all the paintings that we've seen here, it's probably most likely going to be that first painting that I showed you guys. So this is a painting maybe with a screen on the outside or screen on the inside, or 2 screens like what other foldable phones have right now. I'd love to see that first sort of idea, the one that was very similar to the Huawei X, the first generation, because I think Apple could really sort of jump on this. You could have dynamic island in this, and then also you could still have batteries on the inside and also have a great camera system also on the rear too. So after looking at those paintings right there, you can see that Apple definitely are looking to make it a foldable device. So it's really exciting what Apple have got in plan here with their paintings, but there is also something else really exciting what's happening on this channel right now, and it is for this. This here is a MacBook Air, and I'm doing a giveaway right now, an international giveaway for this MacBook Air. And all you have to do to enter into the giveaway for getting your hands possibly on this MacBook Air is just write down in the comments below of what technology, Apple technology, you're planning to buy in 2024. Put it down in the comments below, and I'll be announcing who the winner is of this MacBook Air around the end of March time. Now, this MacBook Air is not only ordinary MacBook Air, it actually is a spec'd up one. So this one actually has 512 gigabytes of storage over the standard 256, and it also has 16 gigabytes of RAM inside of it instead of the boring rubbish 8 gigabytes of RAM will come along on the standard MacBook Airs out there. But if you want to be in the chance to win this MacBook Air, do what I say, put your comment down in the comments below, and also if you are brand new here, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell, because you'll want to know when I'm going to announce when I'm going to be doing a live stream to announce who the winner is for this MacBook Air, so you don't want to miss out on that. Also, guys, I just want to quickly say about this international giveaway, there are still lots of scammers and spammers out there. Lots of people still impersonating myself, telling you to Telegram them or to WhatsApp them. This is not me. They're telling you to part with shipping money. This is not me at all. I'll be paying for shipping money. I'll be paying for taxes. So please, please do ignore them. Or better still, as you can see right here, please do report them. So we've identified that obviously there is definitely a gap in the market for a foldable iPhone, and also that Apple are working on patents out there to bring out a foldable iPhone or a foldable iPad. But the big question is, will we get an iPhone 16 or an iPhone 17 Fold? Well, the simple answer is a no, we won't. But there is a big but. We've had leaks in very recently telling us that Apple's are looking to bring in its first foldable device by 2026, and it could replace the iPad mini. This would make sense because probably by then we would have probably had 3 sort of generations of this sort of iPad mini design, and it will need updating anyway. It's most likely this would be an OLED iPad mini, because we've had reports in that saying that we are getting OLED displays coming to multiple iPads in the future. And to make such a foldable iPad or tablet, then obviously it would need an OLED display for that. And you might be wondering, well, why don't Apple sort of release a foldable iPad right now, for example? Well, personally, I believe it's because Apple are perfectionists and they want to get everything right before they release it. Just like right now with a lot of foldable devices out there, we do get a crease down the middle on quite a lot of devices. Don't get me wrong, a lot of competitors out there are getting far better at this, and I think Apple will want to get this as perfect as possible. They don't want to be known as a company out there that has a crease inside of their devices. This is just not them at all. I believe Apple are waiting for their technology to get better before they release such a product. But there again, we've also heard that Apple are working on a flip phone for the iPhone instead. This would be more like, say, a Galaxy Flip, and again, it looks like here it wouldn't be released until 2026. I think the main thing that we can see here is that if Apple are going to do sort of a fold device, for example, like the Galaxy Fold or like the Oppo sort of series and things like this, it's going to be more like an iPad mini, and they'll probably keep that to that. Whereas if they do kind of sort of a flip phone like the Galaxy Flip or the Motorola Razr, that's going to be kept for the iPhone. So don't expect, how can I put it, a sort of an iPhone and a Galaxy sort of Flip all in one sort of device, you know, like we've got with the Galaxy Fold right now. I don't think this is going to be Apple's strategy right at the moment. Maybe in the future that might change, but I still think they're just going to have a foldable iPad and also a sort of a flip style sort of iPhone out there. But I think the main thing we can take away from this, Apple are definitely looking into foldable devices. There are patents, there are articles all out there telling people that they are coming, like we've just reviewed today. And I think it's just a matter of time until it comes. I think that this push on OLED displays on iPads is going to be a big thing. And also that obviously Apple haven't really updated the design on iPhones really recently, and they need to really do that. And I think that kind of push is going to be coming in the next year or two. So maybe I would say probably in 2026, like the articles have said, or even 2027, we could see our first kind of foldable phones out there. But there again, you never know. Apple's focus could be something more on, say, the Vision Pro or even the Vision Air, and they might just completely forget about foldables altogether. But in any case, I would love to know your thoughts on this. Please do put it down in the comments below. And also, guys, it's time to wrap up this video. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. And also, you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews, and comparisons, please also make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.